Hey, this is Roby. This is the first in a series of blogs where we're going to be looking at the Spider Valve Mark II and how to dial in some great tones quickly. So first of all, we're going to look at a crunch tone. For that, we're going to try and get some Marshall Plexi sort of sounds. So if we fire up Spider Valve Mark II edit, okay, what we're going to do first of all is use the crunch amber tone, which is basically modelled on a 68 Marshall Plexi. So let's pick like a blank preset to start with. Let's go crunch amber, and let's have a listen to what the default amp sounds like. Okay, so you can hear that, you know, if you pick lightly, it sort of cleans up a bit. Dig in a bit more, just starts to break up. You know, to me, that's what crunch is all about. It's just sort of somewhere in the middle there between clean and you sort of real high gain sort of rock and metal tones. It's somewhere in the middle, you know, where it's just sort of nice and raw and dynamic sounding, sort of crunchy tone. Anyway, so back to this amp model. I prefer a little bit more gain, a little bit less bass, and maybe a little bit less mid, and a bit more treble. And then let's have a listen to that. So yeah, you can still, you know, if you still pick lightly, you can still get some clean tones there. You know, you dig in, you know, and it's getting a little bit more crunchy now. So that's a pretty cool tone. You know, maybe if maybe if you're trying to emulate, I don't know, Eddie Van Halen, maybe you could put a bit of flange in there, maybe a little bit of delay, a bit of reverb. Yeah, so it's not sounding too bad. It's maybe a little bit too much delay and reverb in there. Maybe you want a little bit more flanger in there. You know, basically that's sort of getting to be sort of a reasonable Van Halen tone for something like Dance the Night Away. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe touch less delay as well, and I think we'll save that tone. Save that as crunch 1, and if we do send selected, it saves it to the amp. Okay, so obviously at the moment, you know, this is just saved in the amp. If you want to back it up on your PC, then you need to save as, which will save that one preset, or a save bundle, and it'll save all your presets. So it's a good idea to keep a backup. Okay, so next we'll look at high gain amber, which is another model of a plexi, but this time it's been jumpered and it's got a variac as well. So it's, you know, a more sort of higher gain type of sound, but it's still crunch. It's still not a real high gain sort of metal tone. It's still more of a sort of dynamic crunch sound. Okay, so obviously that's a little bit more high gain. I'm going to give it the same sort of treatment as before. Bass down, mid. Let's keep it down, and treble's not too bad actually. Let's sort of see what that sounds like, shall we? So there's my little take on ZZ Top. Thank you. Obviously, it's a little bit higher gain than ZZ Top play it, but that's the way I like to play it. So as you heard, I was picking some notes a bit quieter, and they were definitely coming through a bit cleaner. And then when I was digging in, they were definitely giving that really sort of raw crunch sort of sound. So I think I'm going to save that. Crunch 2. I'm going to send it to the amp. Okay, so we've got a couple of crunch tones there now. So I think if you have a play with your Spider Valve Mark II, I think you should be able to get something pretty cool. Obviously you can tweak them to your taste. Start with one or the other patch, and you can adjust all the bass, middle, and treble and drive. You can add or take away effects, and you can basically mold them into what you want. But this was just basically a way for me to show you how in a few minutes you can pretty much come up with some really good tones and be pretty close to something that you're after.